A red carpet premiere and reunion for many of the survivors of the Marathon bombing. Last night, the new HBO documentary, it's called Marathon, the Patriots Day bombing, was shown at the Box Center Schubert Theater. The film follows three families and their lives following the attacks, the challenges, the celebrations, moments of hope, despair. Among those who attended were brothers J.P. and Paul Norden, both of whom lost a leg, Celeste and Sidney Corcoran, mother and daughter, the former losing both legs, Sidney being seriously injured, and Patrick Downs. Patrick and his wife Jessica Kensky both lost a leg in the bombings. Jessica later had to have her other leg amputated as well.
I was brought to the first aid tent, and then Patrick never came in. And that's when the panic really set in. I know how thoughtful and kind Patrick is, and I was worried that he was gonna defer help for everyone else before he took it for himself.
But as the film shows, they are persevering.
So much was taken from us, but not my sense of humor.
You're the only one with the right leg, buddy, so it looks like it's just you today.
I'm the only one with a leg.
I carry Jess's spirit with me. I carry the spirit of our families and friends, our city, and I carry the spirit of the guardian angels who were killed.
Patrick joins me now. Patrick, good to see you. That film was otherworldly. Why did the two of you agree to literally let these filmmakers into your bedroom? Why'd you agree to that?
We're still not really sure. It was a decision that we had to continually make and check in with each other about, because it is so incredibly emotional and intimate and catches us in these really raw moments.
So why'd you say yes?
Because I think that oftentimes when you see the media, you capture this snapshot of how someone's doing. This very high point at a very low point, and that doesn't give you the complex picture of what these recoveries are like and how nuanced and long they are. And we thought it was really important to tell it, not only because it's happened in Boston, but it's happened in Orlando, San Bernardino, Paris, on and on and on.
How hard is it to watch the moments of the day? And all of the family members who were seriously injured, who were followed in this film, we see their injuries, we see you, we see your what. How hard is it to see that again and again and again?
Yeah, it still gets us. Like even the moment when they're building up to the bombs going off, I know it's coming, it still makes me jump in my seat. And to see all of us laying on the ground, being so helpless and fighting off death just feels totally surreal and way too scary to be happening in this world.
And I think the filmmakers, I mean, I'm not a critic, but I think they did a terrific job. And part of the story obviously had to include some following of the Tsarnaevs. I mean, when you see them, you know, as little kids, as, you know, in these little pictures, when you see them working their way through the crowd and you know what's coming, you see them standing behind Martin Richard or next to the Norden brothers. How do you get through that? I mean, how do you do that?
I hate seeing them no matter what. I know that we have to understand them and have to figure out how they got to the point that they got to, because we as a society have to figure out how to prevent these things from happening. But it's just heart-wrenching to see hate as it's about to take place and know that the fates of all these people lie in their hands, because they're certainly not people we ought to entrust with our lives and our quality of life.
You know what's amazing to me, and I should have known this in advance, but until you see it in real life as opposed to little snippets meeting you and that kind of thing, is how different everybody's needs are.
Yeah.
Is when you say what you say, and I think back to Liz Norden, this surreal mother of these Norden brothers. She is just amazing.
Yeah.
And you hear her say that she has watched the video of the second blast going off, which is the one that took her kid's legs. What'd she say, 3,000 times? 3,000 times.
Yeah. Jess and I have watched that video many times,
Why?
too. We've looked at the picture, because I think we had to understand what happened, and I think that's what Liz speaks to in the documentary, that this is so surreal. This is totally outside our realm, totally outside our worst nightmares, and yet it happened to us, and so we have to put some kind of understanding, and pictures and video are the way that we make some sense out of it.
Since we're talking about Liz, I want to show her. I mean, she had this situation, two kids, both lost a leg, both in really serious shape, in different hospitals. And here she is talking about having to go back and forth. Here is Liz Norden.
Both of them were in surgery at the same time. And even though they're older, they're still your kids. And you want to be there for both of them. I had to literally pick and choose.
Speaking of choose, you chose and others chose. The thing that I took away more than anything else, the relationships between people who appear almost to be different genetic species. The kind of people, you and J.P. Norton joking on the stage afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, this working class guy making fun of you, the kid from Cambridge with the funny looking socks
Right.
on the stage last night. Do you step back and reflect about the world that you've entered that you would never have entered, and so many of your newfound friends would never have entered? I mean, that's unbelievable.
Not just friends, but family, and they really do feel that way to us. And we are very different. We see the world differently. We've had different life experiences, and yet we're able to connect because of this really horrific day, but then also in what this journey has been like since. And that humor has been so therapeutic for us, the fact that we can joke around with each other. And that's been true of our friends at Walter Reed as well, that they've taught us to be light at times and comedic, because those are also therapeutic, as well as the deep conversations and the reflecting.
These veterans you're talking about who suffered grievous wounds as well. You know, I want to mention the third. Celeste Corcoran has also lost a couple of lives. She's in the film with her family, her kid, and whatever. Here she is with a little exchange with her. Is prosthetist? Is that the word?
Yes.
Is that the? Want
Yes.
to get that right?
Yeah.
With her prosthetist.
You better pronounce that right.
I think in Florida. Here it is.
I remember when she walked down for the first time. To walk 5 or 6 steps took her 2 or 3 minutes. And with tears in her eyes, she goes, "Do you think I'm ever going to be able to walk on my own?" And by that afternoon, she was walking outside the parallel bars on her own.
It was unbelievable. Do you ever feel sorry for yourself?
No, I think for us that's been a waste of time. This recovery has required so much of our emotional and physical energy that we don't have much time to feel sorry for ourselves. I hate that it happened. I wish it never happened. I wish it never happened to the Corcorans and to the Nortons. And yet we just draw spirit and energy from each other. To see them overcome what they've overcome, to see JP and Kelly get married, I mean, those are incredibly life-giving, fulfilling moments for us.
I know you satisfied, or whatever the verb is, your dissertation for your PhD as a psychologist today. So
Today. You're my first patient.
I know that. So I know.
How does that make you feel?
I know what you know. Believe me, I have many on my payroll. I know you mean what you say, and intellectually I get it, but it sounds like you're almost trying to will away that feeling. I mean, are you really able to get that out of your body and your head? And I mean, I know you say it's not a constructive or healthy thought, but how do you get rid of that?
Yeah. Frankly, we didn't have a choice at the beginning. It was just so intense and so acute that you're so much in that survival space. And that's been the case for us ever since. Jess is still in that very acute phase of recovery. And so we have to figure out what comes next. We haven't had time yet to think back.
Speaking about that acute phase, one of the things I admire, I haven't met her yet, I admire about both of you in a way that I can't describe. Your candor about how difficult it's been for you, not just personally, but interpersonally. Recently married before this happened. You're on a fairly rapid road to recovery, not to say it's easy at all, and I know that. And she's had a much tougher time.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? I mean, that's got to cause colossal tension, even between two people who obviously love each other as much as it's apparent you do.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
We have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge and identify the fact that it's there, that the tension's there, that we are at two different places, that sometimes what I might do that's therapeutic for me might be miserable for her, and vice versa. But appreciate that we're two different people on two different roads of recovery, even though we do love each other. And spend a lot of time in couples therapy talking about it, joking about it, spending time together to figure out what it is that this journey we're on, this road that we're on.
Yeah, before you go, last time when you were here during the campaign, I asked you about Trump. I'm not going to do that again because I got a lot of hate mail. People saying, why are you asking? So I want to ask you that.
I can take it.
But I will ask you that. I can't take it.
Yeah.
What I will ask you is, I'm looking at that stage last night and seeing this bond thing between, again, people who probably have totally different worldviews, and then you enter the real world when you leave the Schubert Theater, whatever it's called, and there is division that is painful. Is there a takeaway from this thing that you guys all had to live through that maybe would be a moral of a story for us? Do you know what I mean? Is there one?
I think we're all human. My dissertation was about relationship, that we all have this connectedness with each other. It's innately a part of us. And oftentimes I think we're one little misunderstanding away from not understanding the other person and seeing them for who they are. And in this experience, for us, we got to really see each other for who they were and appreciate it and love the other person. And I think that's true of our society, too, that oftentimes we're not all that far apart. We just think that we are. And if we actually had the time and the energy to sit down and hear someone out, we could do a lot together. And I think the city has done a lot together and has shown the world when people gather and unite and comfort and love, that has a tremendous power, far greater than the evil that we've also seen.
Dr. Downs, I'm putting you on retainer. Let me tell you
got
right
it.
now, it's good to
You
see
got it.
you.
Nice to see
Patrick,
you.
thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
and best to your wife
Thank
as well.
you.
Really appreciate it. The HBO documentary made in conjunction with the Globe is called Marathon, the Patriots Day Bombing. It debuts Monday night, the 21st, on HBO at 8. You can also see it at the Coolidge Corner Theater starting Friday. And Sunday, there's a special screening with a Q&A, the proceeds of which go to the One Fund Center at MGH. Do not miss it.